That is good stuff. Anyway, it is time for the Veterans Connection here on WHTL.
Listen up, you filthy maggots! It's time for the Veterans Connection on WHTL.
Sir, yes, sir.
I can't hear you.
Sir, yes, sir.
Attention! You serve your country. You made the sacrifice. The Veterans Connection is here to help. So fall in line, dirtbags.
Sir, yes, sir.
What's that? I can't hear you.
Yes, Drill Sergeant!
Now pay attention. The Veterans Connection is brought to you by the Trempealeau County Council of the American Legion, International Ingredients, Reedy Concrete and Construction, Fireworks over Blair, Mondovi Insurance Agency. Now listen up. The Veterans Connection starts right now.
And yes, it does. And I get to say good morning to Hunter Rudnick. Good morning, Hunter. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not too bad. A little bit cooler than it was for the weekend.
Yeah, it was pretty miserable this weekend. I didn't get much done this weekend.
It was awful. That was very, very warm. And, summer came in and all of a sudden it was like 95 and humid, you know?
Reminded me of when I was living in Texas when I was in the Army.
I tell you what, I lived in Oklahoma for a long time, and so I know what that's like, and I've been in Texas a lot. You know, you get out of the shower in the morning, you never quite dry off. You really don't.
Nope.
And you walk outside, and it's like getting hit in the face with a wet rag.
Right.
But, yeah, I understand what that's like. But we take it, though.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with the weather this morning. It's definitely better than it was a couple days ago.
Yes, it is. And if you're not familiar with Hunter, he's the Veteran Service Officer for Jackson County. Every county in the state of Wisconsin has a Veteran Service Officer. Hunter, of course, handles Jackson County. Felicia Decker, who's in often, is with Buffalo County. And Joe Quackenboss, of course, here in Trempealeau County. For people who aren't familiar with what the position actually is, for maybe tuning in for the first time, what do you do?
Yeah, to break it down to brass tacks, our job is to help veterans. I mean, it's a super simple job when you look at it with a from a wider view. What goes into helping veterans sometimes can be super complicated, but the gist of it is our job is to help veterans, whether it's VA benefits. That's what we mainly do, is benefits that have to do with the VA. That's VBA, so the benefit side, disability compensation, and also VHA, the healthcare side of the house. We help people get enrolled into VA healthcare. We help do applications for VA disability, do a lot of grave markers, death benefits, and we also help the dependents of veterans after a veteran passes away. There can be some benefits. It all depends on what the eligibility is and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, our job is to assist veterans.
And especially when it comes to getting benefits in the VA, it's a maze.
It can be a difficult system to navigate, and that's what we're here for sure.
Kind of like the Sherpas heading up Mount Everest.
Right, exactly.
All right, I got that. What do you want to talk about today specifically? I know you had something on your mind.
Yeah, so I know we've talked about it before in here, but it's something that I like to hit on relatively regularly because I think it's very important, and that's veteran service organizations. Mm-hmm. The American Legion and the VFW are the ones that most people think of right away. People have heard of the Legion and the VFW. You drive through any small town in Wisconsin, you see a Legion poster, a VFW post, and there's a few other ones out there that not a lot of people have heard of. There's the 40 and 8, Marine Corps League. There's all sorts of veteran service organizations out there.
American veterans, too.
Yep. There's all sorts of them out there. I just like to touch on it every once in a while because a lot of people don't. I hear it in my office quite a bit. People don't realize how important those organizations are. People just think it's once a month I get to go over to the American Legion and have a couple of adult beverages with other veterans, and there's a lot more to it than that. The American Legion, VFW, those organizations do a lot for the veteran community. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that are taking these things to Congress and getting these bills passed. The PACT Act, that was spearheaded by the veteran service organizations when it was brought up and made into law. And I hope, most of the veterans that are listening have heard of the PACT Act, the burn pit presumptives,
right.
Agent Orange presumptives. We've talked about those before.
Right.
But that stuff like that's brought to government to get passed by these organizations. And it's a really big thing that not a lot of people think about. And then even on a local level, I'm part of Post 200 in Black River Falls. We do a lot of things, community events. We do fundraisers, and that money's not getting spent by the Legionnaires. It's getting spent in the community. That's, we do an event, say a fish boil. We do 2 fish boils a year. Mm-hmm. We do that event. We make a bunch of money on the fish boil, and then we donate it to other community organizations. Mm-hmm. So that money all stays local, and it's a pretty cool organization to be a part of. And
I know, just as a sidebar here, I know that my wife ran the American Legion in La Crescent for
mm-hmm.
quite some time, and they used to do steak fries.
Yep.
I think once or twice a month, and all the proceeds they would use for other things, other charities or what have you. I mean, it's amazing how much money the American Legions actually donate back to a community.
Yeah, it's really cool to be a part of. And the other thing too is it's when you get out of the military, anybody that's gotten out of the military knows you kind of lose a little bit of that brotherhood. It's a different. The friends that you make while you're in the military are unlike any friends that you make before or after. It's a different kind of friendship. And when you join the Legion, VFW, Marine Corps League, any of those organizations, you kind of get some of that back. You're surrounded by veterans, a lot of people that have similar stories, and people that you can relate to. And I think that's something that gets overlooked a little bit too.
Okay, let's talk about. Let's take as an example the American Legion. You even said before we went on there, a lot of people say, "Well, I don't know if I even qualify for the American Legion." I think a lot of people don't realize exactly how what it means.
Yeah. So the American Legion specifically, I've been hearing it more and more in my office lately. Oh, I don't qualify to join the American Legion. If you have a DD-214 from anything to include your basic training, even if you are a National Guard member your entire military career, you went to basic training for that, whether it's 11 weeks to 6 months of training, you get a DD-214 from that. That DD-214, as long as it's a not dishonorable discharge, qualifies you to join the American Legion. The rules have changed. I think it's 2019, the Legion Act changed the rules, the eligibility rules. If you have a DD-214 with an honorable discharge for any amount of time, you automatically qualify for the American Legion.
And, I know there's other ways that family members can become involved, too. I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be the veteran themselves.
Yeah, the good example, the American Legion Auxiliary. My wife never served in the military. She's a member of the American Legion Auxiliary. My great-grandma was a Legion Auxiliary member up in Thorpe, Wisconsin for probably 60 years. And that's a pretty cool organization as well. They pretty much they're there to support the American Legion. It lets the spouses, and I think it's actually mothers, grandmothers, they can all be involved in the American Legion Auxiliary as long as they have a family member that qualifies to be in the American Legion.
And another branch I know is the Sons of the American Legion.
Yep. Yeah, that I don't know where our closest post for the Sons of the American Legion is. We don't have one in Black River Falls, but that's another way that people can get involved.
I know La Crescent had one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool organizations. It gets people involved, and like I said, they do so much more than people realize, and it's a very good, valuable resource to have in a community.
What I want to mention too, because we've talked about this before, Hunter, but the thing that's so important too is that young people, if you're listening, young veterans, young family members of veterans, urge them to get involved, whether it be the VFW, whether it be the American Legion. Get involved, because we need that young talent coming in to keep it vital and to bring new ideas and new excitement into an organization.
Yeah, it's something that's kind of, I go to the American Legion meetings every month, and I try to get to the Jackson County American Legion meetings as well. And you look around, and most of the members they're older, and it's sad because I look at it, and I'm always the youngest guy at all these meetings, and say 10, 15, 20 years from now, a lot of those guys aren't going to be around, so we need more people to start joining. And post 200 in Black River, we've been getting some younger members to start joining and getting some fresh ideas and new fundraisers and more events, and it's making being a member more fun. So yeah, I definitely try to encourage younger veterans to just get involved. You don't have to make every meeting. That's something that I can't make one meeting a month. Well, if you can make 2 meetings a year, it's better than none. You can still be a member if you're not attending every single meeting. People have stuff going on. Everybody's life is busy, so I get it. And it's the same with the VFW. It's once the older generation, the Vietnam era veterans start passing away. If younger veterans don't start joining, these organizations are going to go away, and that's something that we definitely don't want to see.
Yep, and any organization is like that. Any service-oriented organization, whether it be the VFW, the American Legion, Lions, Rotary, any organization, the volunteer fire departments, they need that young talent. So if you're a veteran out there listening and you've never thought about joining the American Legion or the VFW or one of the organizations, do it. Go to a meeting. You don't necessarily have to join, but go to a meeting and then see what you think. And I really think if you go to a meeting, you're going to end up being a part of it.
Yeah, that's a good point that I didn't mention before. You can definitely reach out to your local Legion post and say, hey, I'd just like to attend a meeting and see what it's about. Sure. You don't have to join. They're not going to, you have to sign these papers and pay your dues before you join. They'll let you come to a meeting.
Yeah.
And I would agree. If you go to a meeting and sit through one, most people do end up joining after coming and watching a meeting.
And you're right. It's a great way to meet new people and make new friends and be a part of an organization bigger than yourself.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Hunter, always good to see you. Great information. Now, if people want to contact you over in Jackson County, other than wandering around town with a sign that says, where's Hunter, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so best way to get a hold of us is to give us a phone call, 715-284-0225. That number rings to my benefits specialist, Brenda Schultz' desk, and she will get you on the schedule. She did want me to mention today that if you do want to come see us, we're trying to encourage people to call and make appointments. We got a pretty busy July coming up here. I'm moving into a new house, and we got a fishing trip planned, so we're just trying to make sure people are calling to make sure that when they do come into the office, I am available to help them.
And a little tip that I'll pass along, if you take the time to call, leave a message.
Absolutely, yeah. If you leave me a voicemail, I will 100% call you back, usually within a couple hours. If you call and don't leave a voice message, I don't go through my missed call and just start calling random numbers back. So you give us a call, leave a message with your name and phone number, and just a quick message on what you're looking for, and we'll get you called back and get you on the schedule to come see me.
All right, Hunter, thanks for coming in. Always good to see you.
You as well.
Hope you have a great weekend. Hunter Rudnick, Veteran Service Officer with Jackson County, and enjoy your fishing trip. I envy you.
I am excited for that every year. Get excited.
Where you going, Canada?
Yep, go up to Canada, a little fly-in trip for a week. I
really dislike you right now. That sounds so good.
Yep.
Anyway, have a good time and bring back a bunch.
That's the plan.
All right. Hunter Rudnick, Veteran Service Officer with Jackson County. Veterans Connection brought to you every Tuesday by the Trempealeau County Council of the American Legion, International Ingredient Corporation, Reedy Concrete Construction, Fireworks Over Blair Committee, and Mondovi Insurance Agency.
We are the American Legion family. This includes the American Legion Auxiliary, the Sons of the